but I just had to bring it home with me because I love it so much. So that came home. Had to come home. It had to. It just literally had to. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen and this is my channel where I share how knitting has interwoven into my life. Today's video is my January 2022 stash in and stash out video. In my 2021 recap and 22 goals video, I decided to ask you guys if you still liked the stash in and out videos, if there's something you wanted me to continue, and the answer was a resounding yes. So here we are. We're about a week into February, but we are here to do my stash in and stash out. So in these videos, I talk about the yarns that I got out of my stash, mostly in a quantities perspective. I look at my finished objects, see how many skeins of yarn I used, and then I count those as moving those out of my stash. And then I basically show you guys my yarn haul for the month. So I count those as stash that I bring in. And I'm changing it a bit in how I track it. Overall, my whole stash is here behind me. I no longer keep like a total of what my stash is, but my main goal is to basically get more stash out than what I bring in. So I've started this year a little expo board. I track here the stash that I get out and the stash that I bring in, and so that I can count my number right there to see how I do. And this month, as you can tell, I got a -6. Yeah. I don't think I've had a negative number since probably January of 2021. In addition, I also track this stash into my making journal, which will be a future video. I will show you guys how I am setting up my making journal, what I track in there, and that is one of the things that goes in there. I just felt like I needed something that sits out in the open. It just sits in this room on the windowsill, and I can look at it throughout the month. And I can see how much yarn I've bought and how many projects I haven't finished, and then hopefully kicks my butt into gear to actually finish some projects. And for January it worked. So we're just gonna keep it going. Plus I didn't have a plan for this expo board, so I figured this was a good use for it. Anyway, so let's begin with what projects I finished in January. So in January, I got out a good amount of stash. I finished a barley hat, which used 2 skeins of yarn. Those 2 skeins of yarn also came into my stash, so basically a sub-zero. I finished my slip extravaganza. That used 7 skeins total because I used whole skarn, which was 50-gram skeins of yarn. So the pattern called for 2 skeins of each color, but I only used 2 skeins of 2 colors. So I got 7 skeins out because I used 7 skeins to make that project. I also finished the Coffee Talk Toque. I knit that with 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn to make a DK weight hat. So that was 2 more skeins out of my stash. I'm just going to show these here so they won't be on the next podcast. But I finished my Desert Vista Dye Works socks for January. Here they are. 2 pairs of Shortie socks using 1 skein of yarn. So yes, finished those. So all in all, projects wise, I used 12 skeins of yarn. Now down here I have that I destashed 20 skeins of yarn. I went on a Facebook group and went through my stash and just pulled out some skeins that I didn't have any plans for or weren't going to use in a while. So posted them on a Facebook destash group, and they have now gone on to some lovely new homes. And so I destashed 20 skeins of yarn this month, making my total out this month 32 skeins. That's pretty good. That's pretty good considering this bin that you can't see of Wool of the Andes has 50 skeins in it. So I'm proud of the 32 that we got out this month. But before I show you guys the stash that I brought in this month, I thought that these videos would be a good time to show you guys where my scrappy projects are at. So currently I have 2 scrappy projects on the needles. I have a granny square blanket and I have a coziest memories blanket. I thought this would be a good time to just show those, since those will be long-term projects, and I can just kind of show you where they're at currently for January, and then every month we'll just do a little check-in to see how those are coming along. So my Cozy Memories blanket lives in this bag. This is a bag from 31. I got it from Shane's mom. Honestly, it's great for my Cozy Memories. I love it because I can zip it up, because these little balls of yarn, Ebony will destroy. She loves when yarn is in tiny little balls, which is what the scraps for my Cozy Memories are in. So the fact that this zips is a lifesaver. I've also put all my pins on here because I am notorious for losing pins when they go out in public. So the fact that this bag stays home is a perfect place for these pins, and there's so many, so it's perfect to have all of these just kind of on this bag. So I'll show you where my Cozy Memories is at. The way I'm doing my Cozy Memories is every time I finish a project that uses fingering weight yarn, I pull out 8 to 10 grams, because I don't remember exactly how many grams each square takes. I think it's like 5 to 6. But I've been pulling out 8 to 10 grams of that yarn, and I just throw it in this bag. So, you can kind of see them in there. That's what I do. So then I can just add squares when I have time. The full skeins of yarn aren't in here. It's just the 5 to 10 grams that'll be going into the blanket, and then that way I can hold the scraps for cuffs, heels, and toes, or if I have other scrappy projects, it's accessible and they won't go into the blanket. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of an update of where my Cozy Memories is at. It's still not very big. This project is going to take forever. So I have self-striping skeins in here. I have full skeins, like tonal skeins. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's big enough that I can't show all of it to you. At first I was doing a method of like a column and a row to like keep this rectangle happening. But then I started this section where I did 3 squares, and now I'm just like adding the 3 squares until it finishes the whole big rectangle. I think the rows were getting too long and it was less motivating. But I have put here my little snail stitch marker, because this is a slow project and snails move slow, to notate next month how many squares I did. So yeah, that's where my Cozy Memories is at right now. No real deadline on this. I have no idea how big I want to make it. I just enjoy picking it up and making a square. For me, each square takes about 40 minutes. I don't know if that's slow or fast. That's just my pace. And yeah, honestly, I really like it. I really like the drape. I think the weight's going to be really nice. It's warm on my lap when I work on it. And it's kind of cool to see like how my story of colors has changed over time. I always love when people share these blankets, and I'm excited I have one going as well. So yeah, do you have a Cozy Memories? Have you finished a Cozy Memories? I love to know. It's really cool because when I became a capital K knitter was when I started using fingering weight yarn, and so I like, this is like the inception of like Kristen the capital K knitter, my Cozy Memories, which is pretty cool. So then I also have a granny square blanket. I am making this for Shane's mom. I am using my Harry Potter minis from the Nora George Harry Potter collection. And the goal for this is 7 by 7 squares of granny squares. And I'm showing the wrong side. This is where it is. This one's a lot easier to show on screen because I can see through it. Yeah, so I've done 4 full rows of the 7 rows that I want to do. I am doing a join as you go method, which is linked on my Ravelry project page. So the only thing I have to do is weave in my ends as I go. That's it, because I basically literally crochet the last bit together. Like they are physically crocheted together, which just gives extra security of how the blanket will hold up over time. And it means I don't have to seam anything at the end. I am doing, I think, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 rounds per square. I have linked on my project page the video I watched to make a square. I think it's by TLC Yarn Crafts. Her videos are amazing and great for crocheters if you want to learn. I don't crochet a lot. I crochet dishcloths and I crochet granny squares. But I love how this works. I just love a granny square. I love how a granny square blanket looks. And Shane's mom really enjoys Harry Potter, so I'm glad I can use these and give them to a new home. And I already have plans for another granny square blanket for myself once I finish this one. These squares take me about closer to an hour per square. Just so you know. So for this, I have all of my all my yarn in this basket. I have, these are minis that I have already put into each square, because each square uses about 8 grams per square, and each of these minis were 20. So I'm only using about half. So technically I could then put them in my cozy memories if I wanted to. But what I do is I like do a month at a time. I used to have them all balled up, but now I'm lazy. I have like a month of a time in here. And then I still have a couple more months that I haven't wound into little balls yet. So like this is the next month that I will work on once I finish the month that is in here. And again, you may be like, why so many bags? Because Ebony will steal these. They look like little gumdrops and she will take them. So I just have multiple bags. There used to be like 30 minis in here because I brought this with us on our move. So I had like 30 of the, like basically all of these in this bag wound up. But what I am doing when I have enough scraps from my scraps, I am planning to make DK socks. So I've already made one because I was just so anxious. And basically all I did was I would hold a color until I run out and then added the next color in. I already weaved in my ends. I'm so good. I might have done Weave and Steven doing this, but I just used Kay's DK sock pattern for these. And I think they look so good. I tried to do a slight fade so that they kind of cohesively meshed. But looking at these makes me so happy. I love them so much. And that's what this little bag is the ones that I've already used. I probably can go ahead and make another sock on a Scrappy Sunday. But like, isn't that so much fun? Ah! I love it so much. Like I really love the whole leg transition and I really love this bit. It's so good. Okay. So that is the update of where my Scrappy projects are for January. So 16 minutes in, let's see what yarn I bought and brought into my stash in January. I have an exciting amount to show you. It's not as big as some months, which makes me quite proud. I can like see it all organized right here. But yeah, I'm excited to show you guys these. The first skeins I got 2 skeins of Nerd String. It's the 4-ply fingering by Nerd String. I just absolutely love this color. It is like a grayish with the most magnificent speckles. So I got 2 skeins of this. This is the colorway Sandy, and this is 100% superwash merino in a 4-ply. Initially, I had plans to do a sweater, so I had multiple of these. But I think I would rather have this as a shawl, because since I'm already knitting a purple sweater and I already have a purple cardigan, I was like, I don't know if I really need another purple sweater, but I think this will be a magnificent shawl. I have plans for what shawl it's going to be. It's from an issue of Lina magazine. I will pop it on the screen, but it's just like a simple texture, so I think it'll really show off these 2 skeins of fingering weight and the speckles, because I just, like, how can you not? How can you not? So those are the first 2 skeins that I bred in this month. And I also just want to say, all of my skeins and stash that I bring in, I track on Ravelry. So if you want to see close-up pictures or see it again, it's all on my Ravelry page, because I am the person that literally takes a photo of every single skein of yarn that I have in this stash, and it is on my Ravelry project page so that you can look at it. And I will link to what the yarn is and the brand in the description box below too. Okay, so then I got a package, and it was magical because it was a package from Desert Vista Dye Works. And the magical thing about her yarn is you buy it and then she has to dye your order. So then like 6 to 8 weeks later, yarn shows up and you're like, oh, I did buy that. So I actually bought this when we were in the hotel when we first got here. I don't know what prompted me, as I just wanted more. I think I was worried about when our stash was going to get here. So I got 3 skeins of self-striping yarn from her, all on her Viso base. So that's 75% merino, 25% nylon, superwash merino. This first color is for Shane. This is South Park. He really enjoys that show, and with us being in Denver, it seemed relevant. I then also got National Emo Day. I have seen this one knit up by multiple people, and basically like the sections of black alternate with these multicolor sections, and it is just Sherlock, I'm recording. It's chef's kiss, this colorway. And then I just loved this one. This is Wind in the Willows, so it's just like a beautiful hodgepodge of perfectly nature browns, which is totally me in a skein. So love this too. Kind of matches my glasses, my new glasses, which I love. Sorry, Sherlock is being so loud. So then our store got a shipment of spin cycle yarn, and I held back because I only bought one, but I had to buy this. This is the colorway Summer Love. It is the spin cycle dyed in the wool, 200 yards, sport weight. Like, I love this so much. I have no idea when I'm gonna put this in. I might be able to fade it in her new sweater, the Metamorphic sweater. I might be able to fade it with some other skeins of spin cycle, maybe, potentially. I just love this one, and I just had to buy one. Maybe it'll go in a flicker and flame hat, but I just had to bring it home with me because I love it so much. So that came home. Had to come home. It had to. It just literally had to. If you recall, I talked about my barley hat, and the yarn I used was Dovestone DK in the colorway Goathland. That's this right here. This was actually a gift from one of my coworkers. I told her how much I loved it. I mentioned this in the last podcast. I told her how much I loved it, and she gave me this many. So I have 5. I should have enough to do a sweater. I initially thought it might be my contrast color for my sea glass sweater, but like I said, I have 2 purple sweaters, and do I really need another purple sweater? But if I don't hold it in my sea glass sweater, I'm going to make another purple sweater or a purple t-shirt. Anyway, it's such fabulous yarn. Let me remind you, this is the squishy one. This is the label. So, sorry, Dovestone DK in the colorway Goathland. 100% British wool, made in the UK. Blue Face Luster, 50%, 25% Wensleydale, and 25% dark brown Masham. A blend of magical sheep. It's like a sheep smoothie. It's amazing. I really might do another t-shirt. I don't need another rift. If you have any patterns that would use 5 skeins of DK, or roughly, I'm doing math, 1,000, roughly 1,100 yards of DK weight yarn, please let me know, because I'm so excited to put this into something. And I would love to know what you guys think. So yes, that was our 5 more skeins into my stash. Then I also got kind of like another surprise package, in the sense that a Homespun House was having some mystery skein bundles that she was selling. So I ordered them with the notes of like, I like neutral and jewel toned skeins. And so I ordered 5 skeins, and 5 skeins came as a present, and I love them. I love them so much. Molly, your yarn is exquisite. I love it. So the yarns that I got are all one-of-a-kinds or leftovers from clubs, of what it seems. I got a skein of mohair silk. This is one of her new colors. This is Teddy. I love this so much. I really want to do a no frills sweater, and I think I might stripe these 2 skeins and hold this throughout, because this one isn't wound up as nicely to show the gold as the other skein, but I feel like these coordinate and it would get skeins out of my stash. I would love a sweater in just White Noise by Molly and hold it with like Teddy. Oh wow. But also, like, I love a good striped sweater, so I could see this too. So I might do that. This skein shows it a bit more, where you can see some gold hues, which I think this really pulls out. And I just, with the Teddy, it's so perfect. Okay. So, moral of the story, I may have to order more of this to make a no frills. The other skeins I got are, this one is a one-of-a-kind. There's no label on this, but it's gorgeous. We got some teals and reds and purples, dark purples in like a chartreusey green. And then we have a couple from her Harry Potter clubs. This one is Lumos. And these are both on her soft sock base, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. This one is Xenophilius Explains the Deathly Hallows. This one has such cool depth. And like this little bit of blue. So cool. So these are both really nice. I'm pretty sure this one, our one of a kind here, is also her soft sock base because it feels like the same put up. And her other yarn, her plump sock, which is this space, has more twist in it. So you can see it there. The White Noise has more twist than this. So I'm pretty sure all of these are the soft sock base. I just love them, and I wanted more of Molly's yarn in my stash. And then I also got this one of a kind. And I'm pretty sure this is DK because it's just a bit thicker. Like, it does not look like the same thickness as this. Yeah, you can definitely tell there. So I'm pretty sure this is her DK base, which is 100% superwash merino, I'm pretty sure. And I just love this color. I can make a purple hat because we're on a purple kick. I love it. So very excited about the 5 mystery skeins that I got. I had also placed an order at Christmas for one of her Christmas sock sets, and it came in January. They were sick during the holidays, so things got a bit delayed, which is absolutely okay. I just love this sock set. This is also on the soft sock base. I got the color Christmas Jammies with a mini of Macintosh. It's so good. It's so good. So this will be socks. I'll probably cast it on for Christmas this upcoming year. And like, the Macintosh has sparkle in it. It's so good. So we got 6 skeins from a homespun house this month. In addition, I also got my Knitcrate box this month. They sent me an email with a coupon basically saying pay for shipping and we will send you a box because you haven't got a box in a while. In the yarns for January, I actually was very inclined to have in my stash, and on reevaluating, they also do non-superwash, which I really do appreciate. I've just realized I really do enjoy non-superwash for things like garments, so I'd like more of it in my stash in general. So it's nice to stock up a bit. So I got 2 skeins of their yarn this month. It is called Aldine Wool's Flannel. And this is 47% Surrey alpaca, 38% alpaca wool, and then 15% merino wool, non-superwash. It is a DK weight, so we get 231 yards in each of the 100 grams. So I have about 460 yards total, so I might be able to make like a KAL, I think. It's kind of fun to get yarn and then go scavenger hunting for projects that they can work with. And I'm trying really hard to like not be like, sock or garment. There are other things on the spectrum between sock and garment. So it'll be fun to explore patterns that this could be used for. Let me know if you have any ideas. The alpaca in this feels luxurious, and I would just love to have this around my neck. And the dark maroony red is really my MO, I think. I'm really finding myself in earth tones, neutral tones. I'm really trying to build my life with that. Ooh, hold on. Okay, my camera was starting to overheat, so we had to turn on the fan and we will finish this quickly. The last bit of yarn I have is from a swap from someone in Norway, which is very exciting. I was selling one of my Chiaogu needle cases, and it was kind of funny because literally the day they came and picked up all of our stuff from Germany was the day that this friend messaged me on Ravelry asking for this needle case, and I was like, I am so sorry. They literally packed up my stuff today and I won't have it for a few months. So then when we got here and we finished unpacking and settling, I messaged again, was like, hey, are you still interested in this needle case? Because I have it if you want it. And so she suggested doing a swap for the needle case, and I was like, that's actually really amazing, so let's do that. And so I got some Norway yarn. She also sent me a tee and one of the pins on my knitting bag. She wrote this cute little note. Her name was Hilda. Thank you, Hilda. So she wrote me a note explaining the yarns that she sent and why she picked them. She asked like what colors I liked, and I said neutrals and yellows and jewel tones. So she sent me the Rauma Vandre in the dry tilde. It's the 3-ply. It's basically a DK weight. She says that this is, it's 3 triads. It's her favorite yarn to knit mittens with. She recommended a pattern called Mitts for Mimi on Ravelry, which is a free pattern and calls for this weight of yarn. So I have been wanting to make some colorwork mittens. So that is what these are going to be used for, and I really want to make these very, very soon. So once I finish my hat, I will probably start a small accessory with these. She also sent me this cute little stitch marker that matches. And then she said that Vandre is this. She sent me 3 skeins of this, which is their newest sock yarn. She said on their website, if I translate it, I should be able to read more about it. So I need to do that, which is why I still have this little note so that I can remember to do that. It's their newest sock yarn that they've just released. So each of these is 50 grams and 120 meters. So I have 3, which should be enough for socks. When I put this on Ravelry, it said it was basically a worsted weight. So I will probably do like the rye socks or something, or worsted weight sock pattern. I think these will be lovely for like making hiking socks. And back to the 3 triads. This was the DK weight. It is 105 meters for the 50 grams. So that actually doesn't make sense because this is 120 meters. And this is a DK. So this must be like a sport, because more meterage makes it smaller than this. I'm gonna have to find a wraps per inch and see how many wraps per inch it is. But I'm really excited for this, and I'm excited to try Norwegian yarn, and it feels really nice. I mean, it definitely has tooth to it, but I really like how wool feels as I rub it on myself. Okay, so I'll put these down. So those are all the yarns that I brought into my stash in January. So all in all, I brought in 26 skeins of yarn, and I'll show you right here. So I brought in 26 skeins of yarn, and since I took out 32 skeins and brought in 26, I have reduced my stash by 6 skeins. So I think the overall goal is to, for the entire year, reduce my stash, whether that's 6 skeins for the entire year or more. That's just where I'm at. I basically have these cubbies, and I would like to stick within these cubbies, and I would like to knit the garments that I have purchased yarn for. I hope you have found this video fun and entertaining. Let me know what your favorite yarn from your last month was, or if one of these is your favorite. If you have any pattern suggestions or what you're working on, please feel free to comment. I love the interaction down below. If you are not subscribed, please click the subscription bell, and you can also give a thumbs up. It just helps share this video with other knitters as well. And then if you'd like to make sure you don't miss a video, you can click the little bell icon, because YouTube will kind of bury videos unless you turn on notifications. It's up to you. I really appreciate you clicking today. I appreciate your time and your love for watching. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye!